Rock Hopper here, and I am with Tommy and Frank, and they're going to show us a place that really rocks, and it's a place where they filmed a lot of movies, such as the Flintstones. Stick around, we're going to have a yabba dabba doo time. We're heading to Vasquez Rocks Natural Area, a fascinating place with geologic and movie history. Vasquez Rocks, outside of Santa Clarita, California. See how big these rocks are. Okay, Frank, tell me about this place.
We are in the middle of bedrock, otherwise known as Vasquez Rock. And this is all the backdrop that was used in the movie in the making of the Flintstones.
The Flintstones starred John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Rosie O'Donnell, and Elizabeth Perkins. This is the edge of where they built the set of bedrock for the movie. Vasquez Rocks in California got its name from Tiburcio Vasquez, a notorious California bandit who used the area as a hideout in the 1870s. From 1854 to 1874, he was an infamous outlaw who led bloody and deadly prison breaks, participated in several gunfights, and had a penchant for rustling cattle. In 1870, Vasquez organized a gang, and after several raids he was shot and badly wounded, but managed to escape, and his sisters nursed him back to health. In 1873 he gained nationwide notoriety. Vasquez had a $1,000 bounty on his head, a high price in that day. The law eventually caught up to Vasquez, and he was captured and executed in 1875. This area was first occupied by ancestors of the Chumash and later the Tataviam Indians, who were related linguistically to the Shoshone, who arrived around 450 AD and were responsible for the petroglyphs of volcanoes, suns, people, lizards, and other creatures found on these rocks.
This parking area, this was the lot that was used for the filming of Bedrock. And this was all the background. Many movies were filmed out here. There was an episode of Star Trek 4. Several westerns that were filmed on this rock as well. There's a whole history of this Vasquez Rock.
So Tommy, you were telling me about a bunch of movies that were filmed here.
Yeah, they've done a lot of movies out here. In one of the episodes of Star Trek, a long time ago with Captain Kirk fighting a Gorn, they did an episode here which was quite remarkable to me. I don't know exactly where. I remember Michael Jackson did a video out this way. Lots of cowboy movies, commercials, and things like that. But just a very nice place to come and visit. So far, we haven't seen any wildlife or any kind of like lizards or anything like that out here. I don't know if any of that's out here. We'll walk around and see what else we can find out here. But in the meantime, it's very, very pleasant out here. It's a beautiful day today. There's so much to see out here. There's so much to look at, and you got all these beautiful rock formations. I feel like I need to come here more often. I don't think I come here often enough. There's such a sereneness about this place. It's peaceful, tranquil, and very, very, very beautiful, very natural.
So we've got Star Trek, Flintstones. What are some other movies that have been filmed out here, do you know?
Well, actually, what we need to do is visit the there is a museum nearby, and at the museum, which we will take a tour of, we'll find out exactly how many movies that were actually filmed out here, because there's a whole list of movies that they have at the museum, which we'll learn later on.
All right, that sounds good. We'll check that out soon. And I know they filmed a lot of commercials here, a lot of music videos and that kind of thing. If you look closely, you can see all the people wandering around on the rocks there.
Let me take you through these little trails that they got here. We're close to the big rocks, but they've got some nice trails here to explore some stuff here.
All right, let's check it out. Lead the way.
Let's go this way.
All right, try this trail.
Yeah. Let's take the Nature Heritage Trail out this way.
Okay, sounds good. This bush behind me is called chamise. It actually can live to 100 or more years, even up to 200 years apparently. apparently, and it's a real hoot. The reason I say that is because in the native language, it's called hoot, H-U-U-T. And this plant is part of the chaparral community. It's quite flammable, and this whole area is what you might call a fire dependent or a fire assisted ecosystem. But every 25 to 30 years, it could go up in flames. And that's why it's kind of a bad idea to build all these fancy homes up in the chaparral hills with all the manzanita and the chamise and the other plants, because they are so flammable. These plants burn very hot and very fast, and that makes it hazardous to build houses in this ecosystem. That part about it being flammable, well, chamise actually translates to dry brush, flame, or firewood. Only 4 days after I filmed that clip, the fires broke out in the LA region and were to become the most destructive and costly fires in LA history. I did a video about it at the time, and here's the thumbnail if you want to watch it. I talk about if LA is the future of Western North America and what really led to the fires. In that video, I mention a friend of my friend who lost her house, and this was all that was left of her grand piano and other belongings. The leaves can be boiled for tea, steamed or soaked, and it's good for colds and respiratory issues. Frank's joined us, and he's got his dog Happy with him. They're going for a walk. This is Happy Dog. This large plant behind me is actually a holly leaf cherry, and it's neither a holly, a cherry, or an oak, but the native people that lived here did utilize the small fruit. The large center pit contained within the fruit had some toxins in it, so they had to leach that. And the process of leaching, eventually they could grind it up and make it into like a flour, kind of mush. In 1910, Henry Craig homesteaded the area, which was simply known as the Rocks at the time. Recognizing the uniqueness of the place, Mr. Craig built cabins on the property and then rented them to visitors, and also built a dam to supply water. During the Depression, he charged visitors 25 cents a carload to see the rocks. It's likely the area became known as Vasquez Rocks after the filming of Zorro, whose Hollywood character is modeled after the bandit Vasquez. This is a juniper tree right here, and you can see all the little berries on here, and if I'm not mistaken, this is what they use as flavoring for gin. As the backdrop for many westerns, you may want to get the feel of that by horseback riding here. Or maybe you like climbing rocks like I do. There's plenty of opportunity for that here. The Vasquez Rocks are part of the Vasquez Formation, which was sculpted by earthquake activity along the Elkhorn Fault, an offshoot of the San Andreas Fault, and consist primarily of sandstone and conglomerate, tilted and eroded over millions of years. They are a thick deposit of sandstone layers formed by the accumulation of eroded sand and rocks from the nearby San Gabriel Mountains over the eons. Ongoing tectonic activity has compressed, folded, and tilted the rock layers, resulting in the sharp jutting formations we see today. They consist mainly of coarse-grained conglomerate and breccia. Over time, erosion gradually stripped away soil from around the rocks, leaving these ancient and spectacular creations. Shale, basalt, and reddish-brown conglomerate can be found layered between the sandstone slabs. The rocks are believed to vary in age from 10 to 40 million years old. I thought these rocks looked like ocean waves rolling in over one another. The ecology of the park is characteristic of the California montane chaparral and woodlands ecoregion. The park is primarily covered in short grasses, scrub oak trees, junipers, yucca, and other chaparral shrubs such as California sagebrush and California buckwheat. Animals that you might see inhabiting the area include jackrabbits, lizards, snakes, jays, red-tailed hawks, quail, and you might spot a coyote or gopher. Other wildlife might be mule deer and bobcats, and on rare occasions, golden eagles or even mountain lions. Winter, normally the wet season, could bring out frogs. The park's photogenic terrain and proximity to Hollywood have made it a frequently used filming location since the 1930s. We went to the small visitor center and museum to see what we could learn about the movies filmed here. Some very recognizable films of movie history have been shot here. Movies featuring well-known stars such as John Wayne, Roy Rogers, Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, and numerous others. Movies using this locale include The Lone Ranger, Mel Brooks' classic comedy Blazing Saddles, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, And of course, the Flintstones. Movies that have had scenes filmed here include Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Army of Darkness, and Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, Joe Dirt in 2001, and Jingle All the Way in 1996. TV shows filmed here include Star Trek Voyager, Gunsmoke, Westworld, and Masters of the Universe. During the 1980s, the stars of television programs such as Hunter, Helltown, and MacGyver were found chasing criminals around these rocks. Moviegoers of that decade would recognize Vasquez Rocks in Short Circuit in 1986, starring Steve Guttenberg, and in the 90s, Pauly Shore's In the Army Now in 1994, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way in 1996, and Christian Slater's Very Bad Things, filmed in 1998. I can tell you from personal experience that there would have been very little of the remake of The Planet of the Apes filmed here. I was on that set, and the majority of it was filmed at the Tufa Towers, not far from Trona. That's where they built the spaceship for the movie. It was constructed out of foam mostly, with a sprayed-on overlay that made it look like metal. I think I still have a small piece of it. This is why they call it movie magic. All is not what it appears to be. I was told the town of Bedrock in the Flintstones was also constructed in similar fashion and then painted. Additionally, it's a common backdrop for commercials and music videos, such as Michael Jackson's Black or White, and there are many others, too numerous to mention. Vasquez Rocks' natural area is a refreshing change from the hubbub and traffic-laden cities of the LA area, and makes a convenient place to escape to. I hope you enjoyed exploring Vasquez Rocks with Tommy and Frank, and learning a bit about movie history and geological... I hope you enjoyed exploring Vasquez Rocks with Frank and Tommy. Hold on. I hope you enjoyed exploring Vasquez Rocks with Frank and Tommy, and learning a bit about movie history and geologic history. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Rockhopper. See ya!